I'll be happy if there we go. Appreciate all those of you who are joining us here on the live broadcast. No matter which way you're watching, we appreciate you. First of all, we want to give a big shout out to all of our replay viewers on Periscope. Thank you so much, and thank you for all those of you who are watching on demand on YouTube as well. We thank you, and we say God bless you, and welcome to the broadcast. We also, of course, want to give a big shout out to, our meat and potatoes guys, all you people who watch me on Facebook Live and allow me to share this on various groups. We appreciate you so much. And, of course, we would not be right unless we went ahead and, in fact, gave a big shout out to our sponsor for high school football, which we are actually going to be doing a double header this week. We'll be doing Thursday and Friday. I want to give a big shout out to Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. They're located at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the beautiful city of Mahro, Georgia. So we thank God for them. We thank God for their continued involvement and sponsorship with us as we try to bring you high school football from on the scene. So we appreciate you, and we thank you very much. Well, big week in sports, especially here in Atlanta. Lots going on here that we're going to get to during the broadcast. We got, as usual, a full slate of guests that are going to join us here. We have folks that are from pop culture. Our usual guy, Brian Jones, will be in the building a little bit later on. We also are going to bring some ladies into the building. We are going back to one of our favorite sections, which is the community outreach. We will have Juliana Nujoko join us. And then, guys, I'm in sales and marketing, so I'm bringing a marketing guru into the building. She is the founder of a group called Maylee Media, and she is going to be talking to us about the importance of PR in today's world of sports management and all the things that are going on with athletes these days. So we look forward to having her join us in just a moment on the show, and we look forward again and thank all those of you who are watching us on various platforms wherever you may be. Well, like I said, big stuff that went on. We had the Falcons fired their head coach and their GM. We're going to be talking to D. Orlando Ledbetter about that at the end of the broadcast. We normally going to bring him on right before the 9 o'clock hour. The other thing, too, is we're going to talk a little SEC football. I've been remiss not to do that, so we're going to do that in this broadcast, talk about the SEC. We're going to bring in an SEC legend is going to join us. The one and only Richard Todd will be joining us to talk to you about Alabama, Georgia coming up this weekend. So again, we're excited to be here and excited that you guys are with us here on the Real Talk Sports Show. We also appreciate all those of you who share the broadcast. Share it, please share it. Let people know what's going on here. Again, you can follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Real Talk Sports, the number 7. Follow us on all social media. We are there rocking and rolling, and we appreciate, again, all those of you who join in with us. Other thing we're going to talk about is baseball. The Braves, and really Major League Baseball in general, really making a comeback as far as, people having an interest. For a while their baseball had kind of, to some degree, fallen behind soccer here in the United States as far as a sport that people were engaged with, especially here in Atlanta, because we had the Atlanta United win the MLS Cup just a couple of years ago. So everybody was like on and popping on the whole idea of watching soccer and getting cranked up about that. So kudos to baseball for going with a shortened season, saying we're only going to go with 60 games and we're going to make this thing work. And voila, they have made it work. So again, big shout outs to Major League Baseball and to our Atlanta Braves, which we're going to be talking about in just a moment with Brian Jones from popculture.com. He also covers the Braves for them as well. And he was a long-time writer. I shouldn't say too long because he's a young guy, but a long-time writer with 24/7 Sports, covered the Packers and still does some coverage with the Packers. Appreciate those of you on Periscope. Please let me know you're in the building. We are doing a multi-stream, so when you're on Periscope, you actually have to put a comment in so I can see who you are, so I can shout you out. Periscope, you guys have done me up real good these last couple of months. You really have shown out, shared the broadcast, repost on Twitter. So again, put something in the comments so I can see that you are with us, and I'll be more than happy to shout you out on the air. The other thing, too, is I want to get your feedback on some of these questions. Since we will not have a call in today, but we will have the availability to respond and reply to you, reply to you on this broadcast. So again, we appreciate you so much for joining us. We thank you for popping in on the broadcast, and we appreciate all those of you who are watching us on the various portals that you are: Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, which is like Twitter TV. We feeling the love. And we just want to say thank you, and thank you again for joining us. We're waiting for one of our featured guests, Brian Jones, to join us here, talk a little bit about the Braves. The Braves right now are red hot. I mean, they are smoking. Braves are looking like a team that could go a long way in this postseason. And matter of fact, I think that they're going to be a definite contender to win the World Series. One of the reasons why, and we'll talk to Brian about this, they got the bats, baby. Braves got them bats. I mean, they're not playing. I mean, they are really thumping as far as being able to hit the ball. The other thing, too, is about them. They are very, very proficient in the clutch. Let's go to social media. My producer here on WIGO 1570 reminded me, hey, we are live broadcasting. That's right. WIGO AM 1570 is, in fact, live streaming the audio section of this. So we want to, again, give them a shout out and a big shout out to all you listeners who are listening to us on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. And again, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor for high school football. And they also, of course, sponsor this show as well. Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. They're located at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the city of Motto, Georgia. And for those of you in the Atlanta area, that's only about 20 minutes away from downtown Atlanta. So again, that's Allen Vigil Ford, 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the city of Motto, Georgia. Again, please, ma'am, please, sir, come on and check us out, because we are in the building here on, like I said, again, doing some great things at Allen Vigil Ford. If you're looking for a vehicle for yourself, for your family, for your business, we are the spot to go. So again, check us out 24/7. You can shop us online at allenvigilford.net. Again, we're waiting for one of our featured guests to come on and join us here, the one and only Brian L. Jones, to talk to us about what's going on with the Braves. Like I said, again, they're doing some big work here. At last, when I was coming in, they were actually leading against the Dodgers in Game 2. They were up 2-0. So the Braves continue to press the envelope to try to get this thing done and make it happen here and bring home a championship back to Atlanta. And keep in mind, the Braves have not won since 1995. And as far as the major sports are concerned, we have not had a champion since those Braves teams in 1995. So we hope and pray that the Braves can do it. Certainly the Atlanta Falcons have shown a complexity not to do it. So, we're a little disappointed with them. Well, I tell you, one team that is doing well in the A also, going to college football, how about those Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech? The Yellow Jackets doing some good work here on the football field. They're really kind of honed in to this whole concept of the 404. So shout out and kudos to them as they knocked off Louisville in a big way, playing on Friday night, which was kind of cool, playing what we call Friday Night Lights. Normally they play the game on Thursday night, but this time, in fact, the Jackets, knocked off Louisville at home. So again, we are excited that they are doing some big work now in the field, and that Jeff Collins and everything that he's doing is now making an impact with that team. Final score is 46-27. Louisville turned the ball over repeatedly. They were actually up 21-7 at one point in the first half before Georgia Tech really came on strong to take over that game. Their defense playing solid and stellar, turning the ball over and making big plays. And their young quarterback, a freshman, is lighting it up. He was freshman of the week. I'm talking about Jeff Sims. Threw a go-ahead pass to Jamar Gibbs, and the rest was history in the fourth quarter as the Jackets again piled it on, pulling away, scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter to win the game 46-27. The Jackets really got everybody excited. They're now 2-1. This was a team that everybody picked to finish last in the ACC. So good to see again that Jeff Collins and his group are making some noise here in the early part of the season, and we hope that there will be more Tech information and more Tech highlights as we go on. Before we switch over and talk a little baseball, I'm going to give you a little bit more about Georgia Tech. Their young freshman, Jeff Sims, 11 of 21, 249 yards in the air, 2 touchdown passes, but he also was clutch on the ground. 7 rushes, 64 yards, 9.1 yards a carry, another touchdown, and he was just really an unstoppable force, and that's why he won ACC Player of the Year. So again, kudos to the Jackets, but they got their work cut out for them coming up this Thursday night, because the big boys are rolling into town. The Clemson Tigers, they are the winners of 2 of the last 3 national championships. They're come rolling in, and the last time they came out here to Atlanta, they put the smackdown on the Jackets. But I don't think the Jackets are concerned about that. They're going to go ahead and put their hard hats on and go to work. So again, we look forward to getting you some more updates on the Jackets as we go along. All right, we're not going to belay the time any longer. We're going to go here to our man Brian Jones. Brian, welcome back to the show, sir.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey man, listen, it's good stuff here. The Braves are handling their business. Can you give us now a scoring update on what's cooking right now? I think we're about the fifth or sixth inning, if I'm not mistaken.
They are in the going to the bottom of the fifth, and the Braves are at 6-0. They just scored 4 runs at the top of the fifth. They were able to capitalize on mistakes that the Dodgers made pitching wise, and you got production from Christopher Pache. Travis Darnur was able to walk with the bases loaded to score Ronald Acuna. Ozzy Albies drove in a run via sacrifice fly. So after a really slow start offensively for the Braves, they're able to pick it up. They were able to attack the Dodgers pitching, which is something that they've done throughout the playoffs, and they're in a good position to where they can win Game 2 in the NLCS. Ian Anderson, he's going to be taken out of the game. He pitched 4 scoreless innings, so he continues to build on his scoreless streak in postseason play. So the Braves will go to the bullpen, which has been great all year. So it's just a matter of holding this Dodgers very potent offense down, which they've done so far. The Dodgers only have 1 hit. They do have 5 walks, but they have not been able to capitalize on the Braves' mistakes in terms of walks. So all in all, it's good for the Braves, and let's see if they can finish it out.
Yeah, Braves have been very, very careful so far to make sure that, in fact, they have, kept away from the big hit. I think that the young pitcher was a little nervous about throwing anything hittable to the Dodgers. So, really, like you said, throwing a lot of walks. But the Braves have shown over these last games in the postseason that their pitching staff, a very unheralded pitching staff at that matter, have been able to keep teams at bay and not let them score.
Well, the thing is with this Dodgers offense is they're very patient at the plate. They're kind of opposite from the Braves in the sense that they're not going to attack on the first pitch. They're just going to wait for a pitcher mistake and then capitalize on it. But for what Max Fried and Ian Anderson has done, they've been able to hang in there. They haven't made too many mistakes, if any, and they've frustrated the Dodgers hitters, which is very difficult to do considering they led the National League in home runs and almost every major offensive category. So, this is something that the Braves wanted to do. This is something that they want to jump to an early lead and then dictate the rest of the game. And so far, they definitely did that in Game 1, especially late. They're doing it now in Game 2, and it's very vital for the Braves to hold on and win this game because if they can get a 2-0 lead and then going into Game 3 with Kyle Wright on the mound, who has pitched just as well as Ian Anderson and Max Fried, they're putting themselves in a good position to possibly win this series. And but again, there's still a lot of baseball left to be played right now. They just need to take it 1 inning at a time, and if they do that, they can come away with their second win in NLCS.
No doubt. So we're going to be very excited to see what the Braves do going forward. Like you said, if they can jump out to a 2-0 lead over this potent Dodgers team, it certainly will put them in excellent position. You hit it on the head. What do you think here about how relaxed the Braves have been and how they've continued to pour it on as far as at the plate? Power numbers still surging. Big ninth inning comeback. 3 home runs in the top of the ninth to put away that game yesterday. So what do you think about the Braves and how they look to you as far as their emotional state of mind?
I think it's what they've done in the postseason is what they've pretty much done in the regular season is just attack the plate. They're really good, and they're probably the best team in the major leagues in terms of hitting the fastball. And so when you're able to hit the fastball, you can do good things. And I think their whole approach this postseason is, take it 1 game at a time because after what happened the last couple years, when they faced the Dodgers in 2018, they were just way overmatched. And technically, the Dodgers are a better team when you look at pitching, defense, offense. But it's clear that the Braves have narrowed that gap. And what you see in baseball more times than not is even if you're the best team, in all the majors, and when you have the best record, that doesn't mean you're an automatic shoo-in to win the World Series. We've seen this with the Braves in the 90s, where they would win over 100 games and lose to a 80, 89, 90 win team. So what the Braves have done, the Braves are now in the playoffs, are the hottest team in baseball, but they're taking this approach like they are in the regular season. They know how talented they are, and they know that the stakes are high. And because of the experience that they've gained over the last 2 years, they're taking that into account. They are still a young team. They have key veterans. They added Pablo Sandoval, who won World Series with the San Francisco Giants. And when you add in guys like Nick Markakis, Freddie Freeman, to blend in with these young guys, it's a good mixture of talent. And you're seeing that so far throughout the playoffs and throughout the NLCS. So the Braves' approach is spot on. They're going to keep this up, and hopefully it will lead to an appearance in the World Series.
Yeah, it's really how impressive when you look at this young team, how they performed, how they went about their business. And really, if you look at this team, they look like they have the type of youth and depth that if they could somehow win a World Series this year, this could be a team like the Yankees of the late 90s and early 2000s. I think can win off very easily 4 or 5 championships in the span of 6 or 7 years.
I think what helps them is the fact that you have Ian Anderson, Max Fried, Kyle Wright, those pitchers being very young. And then when Mike Soroka comes back from his Achilles, you pretty much have your starting rotation set. You would like to get another arm in there. You have your bullpen set. There are a couple guys who will be free agents this offseason. And then, but your core guys, when you're talking about Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, those guys are locked in for a few years. And in terms of next year, you hopefully can re-sign someone like Marcell Ozuna, who led the National League in home runs and RBIs. Because of the core group of what they have and them being so young, you're definitely right. They have a chance to be what the Yankees were in the late 90s, early 2000s, or even the Cincinnati Reds back in the 70s with the Big Red Machine. So they're building on something. It started a few years back. They're continuing to build on it each and every year. They're getting better each and every year. And I think fans are really excited, and especially with the fact that they're in a brand new stadium, Truist Park, which opened a few years back. Everything is going right for the Braves right now, and the city needs it based on what's going on with the other professional teams here in the area.
And no doubt. Well, Brian, listen, before you go, please let people know how they can find out more about you, social media, website, all that good stuff. Sir, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I am the trending sports writer for popculture.com. You can find my work at popculture.com/sports. Today, I wrote a story on the game one of the NLCS between the Braves and the Dodgers, talking about how fans were in attendance. There were a little over 10,000 fans. It's the first time this season that Major League Baseball has fans. That's going to be continuous throughout the NLCS and the World Series. World Series tickets are sold out. So check that out. Again, that's popculture.com/sports. And for any trending or entertainment news, you can check out popculture.com. You can follow me on Twitter. That's at @BrianJones_PC. And I also have a podcast, Always Football Season. New episode will drop wherever you get your podcast on Wednesday night. And there's also a Facebook page for the podcast, which is facebook.com/Always Football Season.
See, guys, this guy, he's like everywhere. He's got like 9,000 different places you can find him. All big stuff going on, thousands of views. But again, he's in the know. So we appreciate you, Brian. Remember, guys, if you need to know anything about sports or pop culture, the guy you need to check out, Brian L. Jones. Brian, thanks for joining us, brother.
Always a pleasure, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me on.
That's Brian Jones in the building. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break because after this, we're going to get to the business of sports, what goes on behind the scenes, and what you need to know if maybe you're an athlete coming out to make your brand and your persona better. Keep it locked right here for the Real Talk Sports Show, as we'll be back in just a moment.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
right, we are back, guys. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show, watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I want to give a big shout out to all those of you, especially who are watching via the replay on Periscope. We thank you so much. We also thank those of you who are watching on demand on YouTube or on the various Facebook pages. Big shout out to all those of you who let me share on the page, especially guys from my hometown back in Norwalk, Connecticut. Those of you on the Washington Village page, that project is now razed to the ground, but we grew up there. And also to all the people from my old high school, Brian McMahon High School in Norwalk, Connecticut. Big ups and shout out to you for letting me broadcast to you on this page. Well, guys, you know, when you think about sports, we always just think about players on the field, what happens, what they're doing there. But we never really think about what it takes to build a brand. You say, what do I need to build a brand for? Well, it's funny that you should ask that. I have a young lady right now that's going to talk to you a little bit about the importance of PR, marketing, and brand, and kind of what's happening a little bit looking at the NBA. She is the founder of May Lee Media, and we're going to bring her on to the stage of the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm talking about the one and only Deidre Gaskins. Welcome to our show.
Hi.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
I haven't seen you in so long.
Oh my gosh, man! Look. Here's the only time I see you. Look, I'm going on Instagram. Hey, oh, there she is. Oh, she's doing something. Oh, she's getting married. Oh, her business is expanding.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot. Definitely online, not outside at all. I'm still social distancing.
Amen. Amen. Listen, they try to get me out in this COVID, man, because, you know, so speaking of brand marketing, I hope to get her actually on the show. I guess recently engaged to Dwight Howard, Tia Cooper, been quite the glamour queen out in LA, looking to start a reality show with her family, doing some big stuff there where dad is having like a big celebration for Dwight and Marietta. And like the sports coverage guy, I mean, I actually worked on red carpets. I'm like, man, I'm going to go. Then some said, hey, you old. You in the COVID protocol. Be careful, because I'm still looking for you, Johnny.
You know what?
And I said, oh,
I haven't done anything. I haven't been anywhere. I mean, I go to church, but we're like social distancing.
Right. Yep.
And all that stuff. Like, we're very careful. But I mean, Atlanta's just a different type of beast. I mean, clubs are open. Like, celebrities have events left and right. No mask, no temperature checks. So they got it. I'm not gonna live in fear, but I ain't gonna be dumb either.
Yeah, you're right. And certainly on the way home, so I had to, also produce a couple other people's live stream broadcasts from our station. Mm-hmm. So I had to put on my production hat, run over there, get them situated, and then I had to make the mad dash to come back here to make sure I'm in the lockdown living room, looking crisp and ready to receive my guests, like yourself. So when I was coming through, I have to drive by a local park. And I was like, why are the cars parked like on the side of the street? What's up? Man, it looked like 2015.
Are you serious?
People out there balling, the regular pickup games you normally do in the summertime. Mm-hmm. Two teams going, shirts off, shirts and skins, no social distancing. Hey, man, pass me the brewski. I'm like, oh, snap.
Oh, no. They got it. I'm going to let them have that. I'm sorry.
Wide open. But like you said, I tell people all the time, listen, so we cover high school football. Big shout out to Clayton County Public Schools. We are the official live streaming source for all games that are held at Tara Stadium. So, when I saw people coming into the stadium and I saw the look on people's faces, and especially once the guys started playing, the cheerleaders were out, there was a sense of joy and relief that you could see on the people. So I'm not trying to in any way, pour, salt on the wound or water on anybody's parade. All we're saying is, folks, let's not just get buck wild like Corona done left. Okay, mm-hmm. Just be careful. That's
exactly.
it. Just be careful.
Exactly. I agree totally.
Well, speaking of be careful, you obviously in the PR business, you built your brand, your own personal brand doing the PR, but let's get right to the meat of it. How important is it for, in this day of like almost hyper sports marketing, for athletes, young or veteran, to investigate maybe someone of your services as far as their PR?
It's very important, and it's important only if you want to leave a legacy. And the reason why I say that is because everybody want to be like Mike, but nobody wants to put, the time in or do what Mike did. Michael Jordan just because of the fact that not only was he a great basketball player, but now he's a great businessman. God forbid anything happens to him, but Jordan has established himself to where when he is long gone, you're going to still remember him. And that's because he had the PR and the marketing and the branding in place for that. So if you're wanting to leave a legacy and you're thinking like, are my fans going to know who I am beyond the number I wear, beyond the jersey, then PR is definitely something that you want to invest in. But even as a current athlete, you want the media to stay on your trail, to know how you're doing in the games, what you're doing in the off season, how are you as a person, who is the athlete, who is the businessman, who is the person. So PR is very, very important.
And so you talked about, you kind of unpacked a couple of things. You talked about the idea of leaving a legacy. You also talked about the concept of, how people are viewed, and you're talking about building a business. So if an athlete comes to you, what are some of the things that you would kind of tell them, hey, these are some things, without giving out all your business secrets, but what are some of the things that you would say, best practices, maybe one or two things, even some young athletes might know or need to know?
Yeah. Even I think right now, especially in 2020, they have an advantage because of social media. Like when I played ball, when I ran track, that did not exist. So I would definitely tell them to utilize social media, but also get in a position to where they have the hands up with the press and the media. So a lot of these big time agents, they get the contract, right? But they neglect about the publicity part and the media part. So I would let them know, like, you need to be talking to these bloggers. You need to be talking to these radio stations. You need to be in the press. You need to be in the magazines and letting people know your story. And then also you need to think about what you're going to do in the off season. How are you giving back to your community? How are you planning for a life after, sports? So that is basically the approach that I asked them. And I want to definitely know their goals. Like, is basketball your all be all? If so, how can we capitalize off of that?
Now, you talked about your career as a baller yourself. So tell people a little bit about kind of what your career was in sports and how that's impacted how you handle your PR business.
Well, that was a long time ago.
It ain't that long. I mean, daggone, you younger than me. If you say that, man, I might be thinking mine was in it wasn't the last century. Oh, Lord have mercy. Tell the truth. All right, go ahead.
Well, I played basketball and I ran track at the college level. I started playing basketball, I believe, at the age of 3 or 4 in Mississippi, and I traveled. I did AAU, all that stuff. And once I graduated from high school, I got a track scholarship. And what's funny is I only did track off a bet. I never thought to get a scholarship. I never thought to win, anything, because I just did it off a bet to stay in shape for basketball. But once I got to college, I placed 10th nationally. And then when I transferred to Georgia State, they wanted me to play basketball, run track, and I was double majoring and working. So I had to kind of give up sports and just become a student. And to be honest, that was a very dark time for me because I didn't know how to be just a student. I was always a student athlete. So my time at Georgia State made me really think about the transition for beyond sports. So I started watching the show The Game with Tia Moore and Pooch Hall, and Tasha Mack and Dion. They were kind of like the epitome of what I wanted to do because I still wanted to be in that sports world. So I started majoring in PR and started shadowing people here and there. And now I've built my business.
Wow. So you said you did this on a bet. I mean,
I did. It was me and my childhood friend. We were in 7th grade. And we was like, we're going to try for the track team. I bet you won't make it. I think we bet $10 or $20. We was like, yeah, I'm going to bet you.
Wow.
Come to find out, 7th grade, 8th grade, we're running and competing at a varsity level, and we're taking our 4x1 team to state. And it was just crazy because I would have never thought, I'm a country girl. We race for fun, but I didn't think competitively to do it. And so I went on to run at the college level, and I was actually a pentathlete. I did the high jump, long jump, shot put, 800 hurdles. And then I did the 4x1 100-meter hurdles, high jump and long jump outdoor. So I was I would have never thought, if you would have said this to 9th grade Deidre, that I'll be competing this long and doing all this stuff, I'd have been like, you're crazy.
Well, look here, somebody on social media know your story. I'm gonna pop the name right here. Dominique says, "Oh yeah." She said, "Oh yeah." She done got the nickname too. She's got the Scotty Dog.
Yes. And this guy right here, that's like my bro. That's my brother. And he is one of the fastest people I know. Like, he ran with me, and I'm talking about just pure talent. No practice, nothing, but he's winning every track meet.
and see, now I might have to get Dominique on because she said, oh, she had a bet too and put a little LOL at the end.
Yeah, that's my bro. He was very talented.
Wow. Well, look, man, I mean, listen, I've been trying to kind of get this put together for a while. I know you've been trying to do your schedule busy, a lot going on.
Yeah.
We certainly want to get you back on because what I want to do is talk about, I'm working on trying to have a show with some of the guys, hopefully one of the guys from actually the sports division of Forbes and maybe one of the other magazines to talk about this whole tie of sports marketing and the economic engine that I think, I don't say it's overlooked because certainly we saw the late Kobe Bryant, how many things were unpacked about what he was doing economically in China and other places, and certainly what Mike has done. And even if you look into people that were not athletes at the beginning, like another untold story, I'm sure a woman you know about is the wife of Mr. Johnson, who ran BET. I mean, here this woman, this black woman now owns 2 major sports franchises, and both of them have won world titles in their respective sports. So there's no doubt there's a lot to go on about economics. But hey, we gotta keep it moving on the Real Talk Sports Show. And before any guest slides out of the living room, we like to put them on the floor so they can tell people social media, website, phone number, email, snail mail, whatever you got. The floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Deidre Gaskin. I'm the founder and senior publicist of Maley Media. And you can find me on all social media at Maley Media or Deidre Gaskin. And you can visit my website, www.maleymedia.com, and let me brand you beyond the game so we can get your brand popping.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. She knows my backdrop, heavy branding. You see, I got the logos from my sponsors down there at the bottom. Yeah. Got to give them a big shout out. Now, speaking of the final shout out, now I don't know what to make about this comment. Dominique says she's still fast. Now, Dominique, I'm going to tell you, I'm an OG. My mama told me, you better stay away from them fast girls, boy.
No, that's a dude. He probably is still fast.
Lord have mercy.
He had talent. That dude right there, he used to piss me off because he never practiced, but he always won.
So he was like Dominique Wilkins. All right, bro. So dudes can be fast. Women, I don't know. So, but here's the good news. The good news is, hey, we appreciate all those of you. We appreciate all the stuff you're doing. And remember, guys, it's Deidre Gaskin. Unlike my auto spell, when I tried to give her some promo, they put an S on the end to change the name around. She had to hit me up. He said, Ms. Simmons, remember, all them names you got ain't mine. Amen.
Deidre Gaskin. Yes, that's
Deidre
right.
Gaskin, that's it. Well, listen, again, we appreciate you for stopping by. And big shout out to you on your nuptials. May you have a long and joyous, happy marriage. And we appreciate you so much. And Dominique's got to throw one more in. He got the one talking about his speed, talking about he broke records every meet.
Yeah, and he's not lying. He's not lying.
That's some speed. We have to bring Dominique on, show what he got. Well, listen, Deidre, again, we appreciate you. We thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on our show real soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Amen. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here. We got lots going on here. We got a whole group of guests that are going to join us here. They're already in the living room back up. You know how we do each and every week, guys. We like to try to bring you a full gamut of different things that are going on in the world of sports. So before I get back into college football, because I got a real special guest, and in order for you to find out who that guest is and find out who our community outreach spotlight is, you have to keep it locked right here on the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
JB Smooth is an absolute character. So happy that all those guys stopped by at the blue carpet We got a chance to color the college football championship awards. As a matter of fact, one of our other guests is going to be talking college football. He's already snuck into the green room, so we're going to bring him on in probably about 5 or 10 minutes or so. But before we do that, guys, we always try to spotlight the good things that are going on in our community. I have a young lady here that has been doing great things, trying to help people get back on their feet and to not only survive but thrive in the middle of this pandemic. She's got a wonderful group that is doing some great things. I think it's Workforce. Now, you know what? I'm not going to mispronounce. I'm just going to bring her on. Miss Juliana Njoku, welcome back to our show.
Hey, thank you so much for welcoming me back. And you know what? I'm super excited to be on your show because we had a track runner on there, and I ran track for the University of Maryland.
What?
I was AAU champion. I also was a high jumper. I competed in 4 particular areas all the way through college. So track girls continue to do great things. So I'm happy that you got all these track people here.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely. So we try to bring all different types of people here on the show, both young and old, because we want to kind of give people perspective, and that's our tagline, sports from a different perspective. Well, let's get right to it here because the clock is ticking as it always does. Tell people what you do and what you have coming up this week to help people really benefit, especially people under the class of so-called working poor.
Absolutely. So my name is Juliana Njoku. I run a non-for-profit 501c3 called Workforce Strong. We are heading into our 4th quarter capital campaign. We raise money to help people reestablish their lives. A lot of people have been displaced due to COVID-19. There are a lot of jobs that are not returning back. 30% of the jobs that are taken away now are all going to be replaced with artificial intelligence. That means that a lot of people who were relying on service, hospitality job, what they call gateway jobs, are going to need to upskill to be able to find careers after COVID kind of subsides. My non-for-profit is committed to helping you with that. We do not train you. What we do is that we afford you the capability to pay for whatever kind of school you want because we help you with your housing. We believe that having a stabilized place to stay, a roof over your head, starts your journey to be able to rebuild yourself. We're heading into our 4th quarter capital campaign on October 15th. We're going to be pushing out a PSA. Our GoFundMe is already live. You can Google GoFundMe Workforce Strong. Any amount that you give goes 100% towards administering and making sure that all these folks have rental scholarships so they can continue to thrive through this winter, past this pandemic, and then they're able to come out on the other side of this and qualify for jobs. Last month, there were 46,000 open jobs in Atlanta, Georgia, and there were not a lot of people to qualify to even get those jobs. We would like to see more people, especially people in underrepresented communities, be able to qualify so they could actually find a way to have a sustainable way to get themselves out of this hole and into a better economic standing. So it's workforcestrong.org. And we are Workforce Strong at all social media platforms. We really are looking for people to help us support. And if you're working at a corporation or with a philanthropic group or anybody else, please put us on their radar. We have deep impacts in the community. There are a lot of people that are working in underskilled jobs, but they got more talent, y'all. They've got more gifts. They've got more to offer. We're not trying to give them fish. We're trying to make fishermen out here. We want people to be able to self-sustain moving forward. I cannot stress how important it's going to be coming off of this election, coming off of the rebuild out of 2020, for you to be able to have the knowledge to get at your own, whether it's to rebuild your business, qualify for a job that gives you more money, or position you to move up in your current job. You're going to need it. This is beyond the $600 a week movement, but we need a lot of help. Our wait list is growing every day from people that are just finding Uber jobs or finding little things to do, but they want to go back and learn something that's going to give them some real income. So I appreciate being your spotlight for the week. We've been able to help a lot of people. Last month was my birthday month. I was giving away rental assistance all month long. Whenever I see people, I try to support people that are trying to help themselves. So if you know somebody, your company's interested in doing something good, if an athlete is interested in attaching themselves to a great deed for the community right here, please reach out to us. It's not hard to find me. Juliana, you can find me on the platform. The workforcestrong.org. I'm Juliana at workforcestrong.org. If you want to email me directly, if you have any ideas, we're working with a great group of people, and you're going to love the stories behind this rental assistance scholarship. You're going to love the people you're going to help.
Listen, Juliana, we appreciate you. We thank you for coming on and being our community outreach spotlight of the week. We look forward to partnering with you. Of course, you know you can call me at any time. We'll be more than happy to try to join in. The COVID has put little restrictions on us as far as what we can do, but it hasn't stopped us completely because you have a camera, have a guy, have a mic, we'll travel. So again, we appreciate you, and we pray that the Lord will give you the strength and really the partners to do the good work that you're looking to really accomplish. Because I mean, the bottom line is that it is a blessing to be a blessing.
Absolutely. And for your audience, really quick, just 10 seconds, there are a lot of athletes that didn't make it. We work with another partnering group that helps athletes that didn't make it, and they too need to upskill or position themselves to go after those careers as well. We are also partnering with a foundation that is focused specifically on athletes as well. If that's your passion, please reach out to us. We really want to help all the people that are trying to help themselves move on and move past whatever life tragedies might have hindered them. So whether it's an athlete who didn't make it, tried out, blew out their knee, or whether it's somebody who got stuck with COVID and now their job is not returning, we house ambition. Just remember that. If you're ambitious enough to go after your dreams, we would like to be your housing partner, and we're looking for more people that are interested in helping those who are helping themselves.
Listen, again, we appreciate you so much, and we thank God for you, and we look for some more great stuff as you go along. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. Really.
You're welcome.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right, God bless.
All right.
All right, guys, that's our community outreach of the week. Miss Juliana Njoko doing great stuff with workforce.com. Well, now, guys, it's time to talk some football because, it's football time in the state of Georgia. It's football time all across the Southeast. And as you know, guys, I've been really looking to try to get what I like to call an SEC legend. And I got a gentleman who I met here a couple of years ago at the College Football Championship events. He is a former standout for the University of Alabama. Played at the quarterback position. Later went on to play with the New York Jets. The one and only Richard Todd. Welcome to our show, kind sir.
Jonathan, how you doing?
Brother, I'm doing good. Good to see you, man. First of all, if I go any further, man, just blessing to you and your family. And may the Lord just strengthen you as you go along and do what you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Look, man, it is like you said, it's just a pleasure to catch up with you. I can't believe how time has flown. I think it was the 2018 College Football Championship events, and they had SEC legends like yourself that were there, and you were kind enough to take a little time with us, and was gracious enough to say, hey, look, if you need me and I'm available, I'll come on. So I appreciate you again taking time out of your busy schedule to jump on with us for a few minutes.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
So, Richard, playing at Alabama in the 70s, you came along, a Mobile guy. What was it like for you growing up as a young man and being able to, first of all, be kind of a bird's eye view, and then later to go to a school which I'm sure for every Alabama guy was the place they wanted to be?
Well, I tell you, back then, I don't know if you know the story, but I had committed to Ship Jordan at Auburn.
That's what I heard. I was reading that. That's right.
Yeah, and I guess one of the main reasons was they had, they were a wide open offense, and we kind of ran a option type throw the ball quite a bit at Davidson High School back in those days. And Pat Sullivan was, he's the nicest guy I ever met in my life. He treated me like an equal when I was a, senior in high school. But then it just came down to I just wanted to play for Coach Bryant and went to Alabama. And even though they ran the wishbone, it turned out okay.
And I tell you, that's something I didn't know. Like I said, I tried to do a little research on my guest, and I was reading and it said about Alabama running the wishbone. I said Richard Todd was running the wishbone, and then they told me that you had a legendary touchdown in a bowl game where you actually caught a touchdown pass. Tell us a little bit about that.
We were playing Notre Dame. I guess it was 1973, my sophomore year, and we had a really great, and he's good. He's still a good friend, Mike Stock. He's from Elkhart, Indiana, and he was a quarterback in high school, and they turned him into a running back. But he's probably one of the best athletes I ever saw. So, we're in the wishbone, and we hand it off to him, and he's running a sweep, and I just sneak out of the backfield the other side, and he makes an unbelievable throw. There's like two people that hit him at the same time. It's just a perfect pass to me, and I just caught it, went, I guess about 20, 25 yards for a touchdown.
25-yard touchdown, that's right. And so now the other thing, too, is which was interesting because it happened here with Georgia Tech, I think, in 1990. That year, you guys actually split the national championship. Is that right?
No. We won the national championship in 1973. It was 1973,
Gotcha. Okay.
And it was,
All right.
Well, we, back then we were the UPI champion. That came out before the bowl games. They didn't care about the bowl games.
Yeah, they sure didn't. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and then that's one of the split ones. And I guess Notre Dame was number 2, and since they beat us, they won the AP national championship.
Well, I got a friend whose dad coached, was a great coach here in South Georgia for a long time, and she's a Tech gal. And she, of course, when she heard Notre Dame, she had to throw up the play like a champion today, and mention the Notre Dame Gold Domer. So, Miss Elaine Armstrong, shout out to you. Appreciate you again. She's a great historian. Lady has been to multiple Heisman Trophy award events. So, I knew she had to jump on when she heard they had you on the broadcast. He's, I got to get on with the legend. There we go. Richard, this contest in your day was kind of lopsided, if I'm not mistaken. Georgia really wasn't the team that we know today, or even certainly wasn't the team they had with Herschel Walker finally in the early 80s. Was it always kind of in your time period, pretty much Alabama having their way with Georgia?
Yeah, we I don't know. We played them, I think, only one time, I think my sophomore year, and it was a pretty good score. It was 24-10 or something like that. It wasn't that much of a blowout, but no, we never lost to an SEC school when I was playing. We got beat by Notre Dame twice, and got beat by Missouri my senior year at the start of the year. But this game's going to be, it's totally so different now. The SEC looks like the Big 12 to me. Where is the defense? Where are the defenses nowadays? Now Georgia's got a great defense.
They certainly do. Yep.
They got a great defense, but I don't see them stopping Alabama. I mean, I'm sure they probably will. It's not going to be like against Ole Miss where it's going to be 1 or 2 punts a whole game. I think we're going to have some 3 and outs, and I think we'll give them some 3 and outs too. But it should be a very interesting game. I'm just glad we're playing them, in Tuscaloosa.
Now you mentioned Ole Miss game. Were you as obviously a Bama guy? Were you shocked that Ole Miss was able to basically put up that many yards?
Well, I don't know. After last year, it's becoming who can score the most, and Lane Kiffin, you got to give him credit. He's probably, if not the best offensive mind in the country, he's one of the top 2 or 3. So I think he can give anybody fits, and I'm sure he got him fired up to play Alabama.
He knows the program.
Oh yeah, he was there for 3 years, and he did a great job for us, and he got us out of that, just kind of pro offense where it's just run and you pass, play action, pass secondary. Now,
right.
College football is just like pro football. It's just a matchup. These guys, you get to go out there and get out. You got these guys that can run 4-3, 4-4, and you put them all over the field, and you see who, they can't double team everybody. You got the slot guys, you got 4 receivers, and it's basically, kind of, for the defense, it's kind of which guy's going to be the portion,
There's no doubt. And speaking of that, now you looking at this game, obviously in 30, 40 years how the game has changed. As a guy who played quarterback and really, what I didn't realize, a pretty mobile quarterback, how do you think you would have enjoyed the game with the rules that they have right now?
Oh, I would have loved to play this offense they run nowadays. You kidding me? Oh, it'd been unbelievable. But it's just a matchup. They get their reads and they throw the ball. If the ball's out quick, you don't see guys running around too much. I mean, the ball is usually out. But whether you're Ole Miss, Alabama, Mississippi State, whoever's running the offense. But it's just these guys got so many receivers. I mean, Alabama's just loaded with the running backs. They're loaded with receivers. They got a great offensive line. I think our defensive line is better than what they've shown, and we're going to have to this week. And, I'm sure those guys will get fired up for Georgia.
Well, it's interesting because, again, you mentioned the fact that the lack of defense that we're seeing now, even the SEC, which was really up until recently legendary, for their ability to clamp down on offenses. Take me back now, again, about 30 or 40 years, coming out of college, being basically a first-round draft pick, number 6 overall for the Jets. What was your feeling going into that, knowing that the Jets drafted you, and this was a guy that name it, that I'm sure you had looked up to a bit when you were at Alabama?
Oh yeah. I met Joe when I was a sophomore at Alabama, and we used to work out all the time. I'd run routes for him. He'd never run routes for me, by the way.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
But I'd always run routes for him. So I basically got to know him for 3 years. He's really a great guy. Still keep in touch now and then. And but he's the one that told the Jets, they don't throw the ball much at Alabama. I think my senior year we averaged throwing the ball 6 times a game, just to show. So he said, y'all go, y'all check this kid out. But I went down to the Senior Bowl, and I had a good week of practice, and I think I threw for 250 yards and a half, and had Steve Largent as a receiver. I'm trying to think of some of the guys we had. We had some really, really good receivers and backs, and I had a good showing. So Ray Perkins was the coach on the other side down there, and I knew him. He was an old Alabama guy.
Yep.
And he told me before, when I got down there, he goes, you could expect to be picked in the, 3rd to 5th round as an athlete. I said, that's great. I just want to be given a chance. And after practicing the game, he said, forget whatever I told you. So was I shocked I was picked that high? Yes. I was very shocked. But I got down there, and you heard about these other quarterbacks, and I'm watching them, and they've thrown for all these thousands and thousands of yards, and I'm watching them, and I'm going like, heck, I think I'm as good as they are, and turned out okay.
But at the end of the day, you proved it. Like I said, I grew up in Norwalk, just literally, miles down the road from you guys. Used to practice in Hofstra back in the day on Long Island. So I used to come out there, and matter of fact, I got a chance to see Joe air out his fabulous arm a couple of times to the late great Eddie Bell. So definitely a lot of fun checking that out. But I tell people, a lot of people, because sometimes you get caught in the middle of historical runs, so people kind of forget their history. And I think a lot of Jet fans don't know that you had the Jets, at quarterback, had them knocking at the door for their second Super Bowl berth. Tell us a little bit about that playoff run and then how it ended in Miami finally.
Oh, we went to Cincinnati and we beat them. Then we had to go to the Raiders, who had won the Super Bowl the year before, and we beat them. And then we went to Miami, who had beaten us twice that year, and there was a lot of rain and a lot of the field was flooded, and I was Miami's most valuable player. I threw 5 interceptions. If they could have caught the ball, they could have had 10. So that's kind of the way it goes. And, when your quarterback throws 5 interceptions, the only way you got a chance to win is if the other quarterback turned the ball over quite a bit. And I think Woodley threw 3 interceptions, but it wasn't a day for offense. It was 14-0 and crappy game. And I'm mad at you now for bringing it up.
Well, now look, and the only reason I bring it up is because, not in a bad way, it's because everybody that was from the area who had watched basically you guys be back-to-back Super Bowl champions come into Miami and basically be in a situation where we don't know whether it was just they don't do that, but evidently made no attempt to put a tarp on the field or anything before the game.
Turn the pumps on either. Yeah.
Just saying. So at the end of the day, what we saw is an offense that I thought that you had ran very well with Freeman McNeil from, I think, running back out of UCLA. You guys had a very, very balanced attack, good defense. And so this was a team that I think, had it been in good weather, we don't know what. I just want to let people know that, you had them knocking on the door, and you guys had to knock off 2 of the great teams of your era in order to get there.
Yeah, well, we really had a good offense. We had Freeman, we had a great offensive line, Marvin Powell, Dan Alexander, Joe Fields, Steve Waldemore, Chris Ward. We had Bruce Harper, who was just a great third down back.
Yep.
Lamb Jones, Bobby Jones.
Johnny Lamb Jones.
Scott Durkin, that's right. Johnny Lamb passed away. He passed
away. Did he really? Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. He's a good guy.
Richard, man, we appreciate you. I'm gonna bring a guy in a little bit early. He actually is the embedded beat writer for our Atlanta Falcons, but he's been on the scene for a while, so I'm sure he'd appreciate saying hello to you. He's an award-winning beat writer, sports writer for the AJC Sports. D. Orlando Ledbetter, Esquire, par excellence, is in the building. D. Led, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, Reverend. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I figured you'd appreciate Mr. Richard Todd, a guy that we kind of, grew up watching and seeing some of his exploits. And of course, I told him I grew up right down the road in Connecticut, so I used to go out there and see them practice every now and then. They used to bring us out as a kid.
Yeah, no question about it. We grew up watching Richard. I was in Cleveland, though, and, seeing some of those teams go against his Jets teams and,
Ozzie Newsome. Yeah, Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, the Wizard. Yeah, Wizard.
Yeah, Ozzie, I love Ozzie.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, before you go, I had to do this. I got a good friend of mine that really actually got me started in this whole broadcast thing. We call him Mr. Football because he's like a sports encyclopedia. He's jumped on social media, so he wants to ask a question here about a game in '73. He said, what about the game with LSU with Mike Miley and Brad Davis at Tiger Stadium? I guess that was a game that kind of struck him being a Memphis guy.
1973. So I was a sophomore. Gary Rutledge was starting. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gary Rutledge was starting.
Right. Yep.
I don't really. The thing I remember about LSU, and I swear I know this. I'm 67, so I can't remember things. But the first time I was ever at LSU, we came out of the stadium, and I'm sitting there, and that tiger is right behind me, and I didn't even know it. They shock him. They shock that tiger, and they've got the microphone and everything else to get the tiger growl. I jumped about 5 feet.
How about say you must have jumped out of your skin?
I think we won. Well, we never lost to the SEC when I was, sophomore, junior, senior year. So, I know we won the game. I just can't remember the specifics of it. I'm sorry.
Well, I tell you, that's a big feather in the cap to say that you went basically your football career undefeated in the SEC. That's a big thing. Richard, man, listen, again, I appreciate you taking time out with us. Love to have you back on, if at all possible, if your schedule allow, for the SEC championship game preview. It's always great to have some historical context. I tell guys all the time, I said, listen, you are aware that there are people that played and did what you did before you came, right? I mean, this didn't just you just didn't pop out as a vacuum, right? There were other great guys too. So, and I appreciate you again for letting us people know what's going on and tell them about the rich history of Alabama and all the great things that happened there. Again, guys, Richard Todd in the building, Alabama great, New York Jet great, this close from Don Shula and his minions down in Miami.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yes, sir.
Richard, likewise.
Take it easy.
Take care.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, we are going to finish up here with Falcons Talk. And I know you guys are chomping at the bit, going mad, but you're going to have to wait a second. We're going to take a quick station break, and we got to give a big sign off to those of you who are listening on WIGO AM 1570. We thank you. We thank our producer behind the screen. Nobody sees him, but he's always on the block, Mr. Eli Smith. As a matter of fact, if you like great gospel music, check him out every weekday, with the exception of Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon, for the Eli Smith Show. Does a great job in bringing you the greatest gospel hits from yesterday, today, and even some of the new guys that are out right now. Well, listen, guys, don't go away. We're going to talk Falcons football. Just don't get too mad when you come back. All right, listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Hey, we had to run out the living room there for a second there, guys. We're back here. Again, you're listening and watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and we broadcast to you from outside, or inside, I should say, the lockdown living room. I have the guy that knows everything that's going on with your Atlanta Falcons. D. Orlando Ledbetter is back with us in the building. Okay, D. Led, the inevitable happened. They gone. Yeah, our regime with Dimitrov and Dan Quinn has left the building. When did you actually find out about what was going to happen?
I got a call Sunday night around 10. We had I had talked to Arthur Blank after the game. He wasn't ready to say anything, so he said, "I'm going to talk when I'm ready." So I talked to him. You got to go right to the source. And at that time, he wasn't ready to tell everybody that they were going to be firing the coach. So that was around 6 o'clock, and then I kind of knew it was coming. And at 10 o'clock, we got word that the coach and the general manager being terminated.
Wow. Yeah, and I think that everybody was really kind of buzzing about it because your good buddy, your former stablemate at AJC, now with the Athletic, kind of had after the game had kind of rumbled around about 9 o'clock that it might be in the works, and then of course you dropped it almost immediately that evening. Yeah, it's official. They are gone.
He had it. He said it was supposed to happen Monday or Tuesday. So
that's true. That's right. Yep, that's right.
He had it wrong.
Yep, he got it completely wrong. Why do you think? And speaking of that, normally that is kind of Mr. Blank's MO. Why do you think he decided, hey, I can't go through the weekend with him still on the docket?
Well, you can't start the week with when you got another game coming up with somebody. You can't fire him in the middle of the week. So
right, that makes sense. Gotcha.
The night to do it if you're going to do it in season firing. So that's it was word about that a couple weeks back. Hey, if they start winning the Carolina game, was the do or die game, and they did. They didn't make it through that game.
Yeah, I guess it's always kind of interesting. So all the players said all the right things. They talk about how Dan Quinn was their guy, but really, and again, I'm a guy that has not played a single down of major college football or any type. It's always incredulous to me when players say that and then they don't play to keep the guy's job. Because in essence, if we really peel back the onion, yep, did Dan Quinn make a lot of bonehead decisions? He did. But this season especially, players really weren't up to snuff. The drop passes by Ridley, even Julio got into the act with the drop passes, the continued mistakes with penalties from the offensive line. I just think the players never played up to par.
Yeah, and I think they never coached up to par either.
Okay.
And Coach Dan, this is high school atmosphere. They're running bags. They're talking about the brotherhood and blah blah blah. And I forget which player. It was an anonymous player on NFL Network said, "Hey, that stuff got old." The players tuned them out clearly at some point.
Right.
Where, they stopped. Whatever his message was. Didn't work. His plans didn't work. They didn't believe in him. They didn't execute him. Let's start over. So you're getting a more polished coach coming in here. He's been a head coach before. He's a straight shooter. And maybe he can come up with some better plans than what Coach Dan was coming up with, to fit these players and give them a opportunity to go out and perform. I mean, he had them doing coverages that they couldn't do. And it showed on Sundays. And then the disorganization with they had to call a timeout, their first timeout. They had to burn it because they had 10 men on the field. I mean, that's Little League stuff. But we saw it all throughout, 12 men on the penalty, 12 men on the field, 10 men on the field. That's Little League stuff. That's disorganization on the coaching staff's part. And, we saw that. So, Coach Dan had a big hand in his own operation here.
Yeah, and you talk about the disorganization. It did seem like that when he had his hands fully on the wheel, that seemed where they had most of their trouble. And of course, you and I talked about it a little bit off camera. This whole idea about basically not putting players in the position to win, and never really taking responsibility for bad decisions. Certainly, probably. And I gotta say this, being a guy that really is a smaller outlet, you're always afraid that you won't get access if you say too much of the wrong thing. And we're getting better with that. But to me, when he fired the entire coaching staff, that was a right off the rip a red flag, because here you have a coaching staff along with you, whether you botched up at the end or not, that took a team to the Super Bowl. So how bad could the coaching staff be if you just took a team to the Super Bowl and really came 2 or 3 plays or decisions away from winning it?
Yeah, the coordinators, he had to get rid of Sarkisian. There were some issues there. We know about his past, and I'm not speculating on what happened, but he had to go.
Oh, no doubt about that. Yeah.
Marquand Manning did not have to go.
That I didn't understand.
Did not have to go. Brian Cox did not have to go the previous year.
Nope.
I'm thinking, and I talked to all these guys. I didn't talk to Keith this summer, but I talked to Marquand and Brian Cox, and they thought they were let go for some off-the-field image stuff, that happened at the Combine. When Brian Cox got into a fight with the assistant from the Arizona team.
Right.
Vic Beasley had his one good year under Brian Cox. So if he stays, maybe you save that pick. Marquand and Dan had no way he was going to fire Marquand. He got him his first job, took him to Florida, took him to Seattle, brought him here. So I know he didn't have anything to do with that. So Marquand got fired probably because of his problems with Eli Apple at the Combine, were asking him an inappropriate question. But I'm like, okay, stuff happens, man. You got to keep your good coaches. And they didn't. I don't believe Dan fired them on his own volition. Sarkisian, yes, but not the other two. So the whole football operation, you got the owner, meeting with the coach every Monday. He need to go sit down and let the football people run the football operation.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you talk about that, because now at this point, even a lot of fans are leveraging a lot of their angst and their disappointment. Now, Arthur Blank, this was a guy that up until this point really had been like Teflon. He's Uncle Arthur. Certainly they were able to build this magnificent new stadium, to have Atlanta United kind of capture this, really to some degree, this, not only just the soul of the city, but even the world with what they did here. But I told people back then, I said, you got to keep in mind, it just seemed like with Mr. Blank, he had a lot of tolerance for people that made him money, to me, because when I look at Dan Quinn, getting him to the Super Bowl, and to be able to do that, in essence, that allowed them to charge people a ridiculous PSL, help build that stadium, and really basically build an Atlanta United team, because to my understanding, the Atlanta United fans don't pay any PSLs.
Yeah, I don't know. When we get into PSLs, we got a person for Tim Tucker, who I understand the concept and the charges and so forth, but he kind of monitors that with the state and how many people have defaulted on those. It's just people bought into the team as an investment, which is a bad thing to do, and their investments are going belly up. Is what I understand it. I'm a football fan. I'm not trying to invest in the stadium. If I want to go to the game, it's got to be a way for me to get a ticket and come in. But the whole PSL concept was started up in North Carolina with the Tar Heel basketball program, spread around the country, and it has been applied in the NFL with mixed results.
Yeah, certainly bad results here. Like you said, very angry fan base and just a lot of bad decisions. All right, so Raheem Morris, we know he's an interim coach, but it does appear to be a somewhat landmark decision. If I'm not mistaken, the first African-American coach to hold the helm for the Falcons.
Second, Emmett Thomas was the head coach in 2007 after Petrino left.
There we go. So, okay, that's why I said I'm not sure. I want to make sure, but it's a good thing.
I got you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So Raheem Morris, what he brings to the table, former player and a former head coach. Do you think that's the reason why management leaned towards him versus any of the other coordinators?
Well, they feel that the players will listen to him. He's got that personality. It's like, okay, hey, he's a straight shooter. He's like, hey, we all fighting for our job. So, they're going to rally the team up that way. He got his head coaching job at the age 32. He's like, there's no manual for how to do it. He was a protege of Mike Shanahan, Mike and Kyle, helped them. Matt LaFleur was also with him in Washington, and Sean McVay. So he's been around the great coaching tree, the hot coaching tree right now. So he knows exactly what he wants to do. Now, does he have the talent to do it? He's not going to try to put them in a zone matchup zone that they can't play. He's gonna, at very worst, he's going to put them in a cover 2 and just keep the ball in front of them, like they did. Charlotte did to them. He's also tried to blitz a little bit more. You know, he doesn't have a defensive ends to just sit there and play the run like that. They're too small. But that's what Dan wanted. So he's got his problems. He got a roster of players that won't fit a Tampa 2 traditionally. So they're trying to disguise it and do a bunch of stuff. But good guy, great speaker, knows football. Maybe he can get them to play. Schedule soft here. You got Minnesota, Denver, Detroit, Carolina again. You don't start seeing the hard part till later on. So, we got to get Matt Ryan, figure out what's going wrong with him, maybe get Julio back later on, and just get it together where they're playing as one unit is what he said. They need to play together as a group. That's what they did last year down the stretch. They played as a group, got after it together, and now given the pandemic, no preseason, all of that. So they had excuses to come unglued, and they did.
We talk about Matt Ryan. So what do you think his problem is? Do you think it's that lack of practice? Because I've seen several throws where it looks like the timing has been off. Is that it, or are we just seeing the fact that Matt is in his late 30s and he's maybe on the beginning of a decline?
It's a couple. That's one. It's a couple theories. I have one that he's been getting hit too much. He got hit over 100 times the last 2 years, and he's a little jumpy in the pocket. When he was firm and younger in his career, when his pocket is firm, he's going to pick you apart. So, that's one. That's my theory, is that he looks rattled, and that's from all the hits he's done taken. And he's not sure if his line can protect him. And he knows they're not, because they're sending 5 receivers out and coverage a lot too. So that's my theory. The other theory is, hey, he's hurt because his passes are not as crisp. They're slower. He's getting his receivers hit. And they're not making, they just don't look right. And he's forcing some throws like he did at the end of the game. So that's one theory. And then the other one is, hey, yeah, he's getting old.
Well, speaking of you talking about before about putting players in the best opportunity to win and to do well. One of the things that I understand they've talked about the fact that, hey, you can't run this all the time, but it's always seemed that Matt plays better in an up-tempo type of game plan. But it seems like for the life of me, the Falcons refuse to kind of use that much. It seemed like they were doing it quite a bit for a while with Mike Smith under his tenure. We got a little glimpse of it from time to time with Shanahan, but it doesn't seem like we've seen that on a consistent basis. Is it just because, hey, we don't want to overdo it, or we just have, again, bad coaching where they don't want to put a guy in the best position to do as well as he can?
Yeah, it was called Texas. That was the package. It started his rookie year with 12 plays, and it grew to like 35 plays where they can just go to the line and he can call whatever he wanted to call. And Mike Mularkey, the first offensive coordinator, and Bill Musgrave, the first quarterback coach, they taught him that. So they can do that. Dirk did it a little bit his first time around. I suspect, Reverend, that they can't go tempo here because they don't want that defense on the field that much.
Gotcha.
So they want them to go a more moderate pace, that defense gets some rest because, on Sunday they got to stop the first time. Then they gave up field goal, touchdown. Now you're in a big hole again. So that defense can't stop people. They're out there trying to knock the ball out and not tackle and doing everything but sound defensive football. So, yeah, they're trying to protect that defense, which is why I don't think we get the tempo offensive play that we know that they can run.
Well, I think the reason why I thought about that is to me, it seems like they got to find some way to score points. That's the other thing. What do you think is the problem? And it seems like it's been from depending on what year, a big problem with this team were in the red zone. What's from you watching? What's the biggest reason why they can't seem to score in the red zone?
No precision and no power. Okay, you got to be able to run the ball when they know you're coming, and they'll let you go 5 wide. So if you're going 5 wide and in the red zone, then you got to run some pick plays and stuff and get people open. So because you ain't gonna have a lot of time because you got to get the ball out and get it out quick. They're not doing the bootlegs and the rollouts, which Shanahan brought here, and Matt doesn't like because he doesn't like turning his back to the defense. So they don't do the bootlegs. So they got to come up with something, a better play in the red zone. Certainly not having Julio doesn't help them very much.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You talk about again, I don't want to just throw all the blame on Matt because plenty go wrong. I think another guy that really doesn't get much heat on him because of the fact that he's very rarely injured and he's a serviceable tackle is Matthews. Because if I look at the Falcons' history, a lot of their most game-changing plays came at the helm of him having the most inopportune holding or missed blocks that I've seen on clutch plays. So don't know what you think about young Mr. Matthews. His tenure here, again, a high draft round pick. Do you think the Falcons have gotten their worth out of him, or is he a little bit overrated?
No, he's a very good football player, but when you get picked 6th overall, you're supposed to be better than that. And the problem is they didn't pick the right tackle. They took the wrong guy. Taylor Lewan has gone on to be a 4-time Pro Bowl player. Yeah, he was coming out of Michigan with some baggage. No question about it. But, they got to take into account them kids are going to grow up. They're going to mature and turn into, maybe good citizens, maybe not so good citizens. But they took the wrong guy. It's just clear as, Jake went to 1 Pro Bowl as an alternate. Taylor Lewan went in front of him at least 4 other times. So they took the wrong guy that year.
So speaking of that, now you hit something about the good citizen. One of the things that I've thought about here, and don't know what you think, but it seems like the Falcons still continue to deal with the Michael Vick effect. They're just almost unbelievable focus on being a good citizen, I think, has allowed them to neglect players that really would be impact players here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, though, Reverend. I don't really want to be following the police blotter, getting guys speeding up and down the highway and so forth. I think you could be a good citizen and a great football player, so I'm not going to reel against that.
And when I say that, I know people now see, I'm going to get in trouble because people say, Rev, you want a bad boy here? No, I don't want a bad boy. I just want a guy that's got a little aggression. Let's go to social media and see what some of the impact is out there. Let's go here on the social media and pop in here with Miss Elaine Armster. And she says she enjoyed it, our interviews, and enjoying the insight with you as always. Everybody on social media, and that's why I appreciate you so much for joining on, is because it gives us an inside look that we normally don't get on a show like this. So anyway, so I guess that's my thought. It seems like the guys that kind of are edgy, maybe that wouldn't be necessarily the perfect fit in the brotherhood, are the guys you need to win football games.
Well, no, I don't think so, Reverend. I think you need guys that are tough-minded and can play up to the rules. You can. I don't think I necessarily. I think Big Chuck and the players that I know have played, they talk about the dog mentality.
Right.
I'm not gonna lose. I'm gonna beat the guy in front of me. I prefer to look at it like that. They need more guys like that. I don't want the bad citizens, the guys that are getting in trouble and doing stuff that you can't rely on them. They're not dependable and so forth. I want guys that are gonna fight and take the fight to the other team.
I want to make it clear, folks. That's what I mean. I'm not trying to get a guy in here that's in here out there in trouble, got girlfriends and other people he's beating up. We don't want that. But certainly we do want guys that, and don't get me wrong. I hope that any locker room that you get along with everybody. That's the goal. I mean, nobody wants to look at a guy and say, I don't like this guy. But, there are some guys that are just, they're kind of, their personality is kind of persnickety. I mean, they're great team guys. They won't get any trouble, but they're not necessarily media friendly. They're not necessarily, the guy with the smile all the time. It just seems that the Falcons consistently get guys that are, I hate to put this, they seem kind of soft.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that about Vic Beasley was a little different, no doubt about it. But Brian Cox figured out how to get him to play. So
he sure did.
He got him 15.5 sacks. So I was fine with that. I'm fine with the character analysis. Just given the situation we're in, definitely don't want any domestic violence.
Oh no, that's out. Yeah, I don't want it. I mean,
I do want mean, tough football players that gonna knock the New Orleans Saints on their butts.
Right.
I think you can just stay there with it, Reverend, and say, hey, we need more people that are gonna win in the trenches. And if they got a bad attitude about it, that's good too. Yeah.
That's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so now if we look at the rest of the season, D-Led, what can fans hope to expect? What would you think the best scenario is? We have is 11 games remaining?
Yeah.
What?
Yep. And I want to see. We'll go to practice tomorrow. I want to see what changes they're making. He can't do the same thing. He can't run the same program that Dan was doing. So I want to see if it looks more like a Smitty practice, or more like a Shanahan practice. What's he gonna do they fired the special teams coordinator, so we know the special teams are gonna be different.
Right.
I think they're gonna dive on the ball next time.
Yeah, amen.
So
I think that's a given.
I want to see what the changes are before I talk about the rest of the season. If they try to do the same thing, they're gonna keep getting the same results. It's gonna be a long season. They're gonna go 2-14 or something. So, but if he could change them and jumpstart them and get them going, go get this Minnesota game. Then you got I didn't even look past the Minnesota game. I know Detroit and Denver are coming up and Carolina again. So I just want to see what changes he's got in store to maybe get this team playing better football together.
So last thing as we get to close up, I can't believe we're already getting close to the time. All right, Todd Gurley, are you surprised at how good he's been, and how much do you think he's got left in the tank? Because it seems like his pitch count has been pretty high the last couple of games.
Yeah, no question about it. Todd broke loose for 121 last week. First time they had a 100-yard rusher. He's in a contract year. He's only making $5.5 million, so he's gonna try to turn this into some money somewhere here or somewhere else. Because we just found out Le'Veon Bell got cut from the Jets. But do you want to bring him in? You saw him in Pittsburgh. Then he set out the year and he hasn't been the same since. And wish Todd the best. He's running pretty hard. We'll see if he can keep it up.
So Le'Veon Bell's been cut. Very, very interesting thing. I mean, Adam Gase has been catching a lot of heat. Not sure about that franchise. I don't know, man. It's just some odd thing. But that would be interesting to have a backfield of Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell. That would certainly be an eye opener, especially if the line could adjust to his type of jump cut running. There's no question if you could go out there and pound away with those two guys for a while, I think certainly could take some heat off of Matt. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the Falcons do. I guess you're right. Well, I tell you one thing that everybody wants to see. They want to see how they can find out more about you and follow all of your great sports coverage. So the floor is yours.
Yes, Reverend. Thank you. You can find everything. Go to ajc.com and go to the sports, drop down and hit the Falcons page. We tweet everything out on Twitter at @DOrlandoAJC. And then our Facebook page is Atlanta Falcons News Now. Atlanta Falcons News Now. And then, Wednesday mornings, we have the Bowtie Chronicles podcast coming out 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, and then after the games on Monday. And then at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, We have the Cover 9 at 9 blog, where we do 9 items on the Falcons and tell you everything you need to know for the rest of the week on the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, guys, you got it right there. Now, listen, I see all you guys are logging on now. I see the number chart start to go. So, look, you got about another minute. If you want to ask D-Let a question, the lines are open. Pop your question in the comment section. We'll go ahead and ask them. We did that last week. We know a lot of you guys log on late. I don't know you guys be sleeping. I guess you're watching the game because like about 9:15, y'all start popping. So I'm telling you you got about 60 seconds to hit me up with questions. You have any questions for D-Led? We'll have them on the line. Again, this is D. Orlando Ledbetter, award-winning sports writer for AJC Sports, embedded in with our Atlanta Falcons. Always bringing you stuff that's going on with on the scene. So, again, if you guys got a question for him, go ahead and pop it on before he gets gone. So, all right, guys. Well, that's your shot. We appreciate you. And D-Led, obviously, we appreciate you for joining us, and we look forward to you being with us again real soon, brother.
Thank you, Reverend. Take care and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, sir. D. Orlando Ledbetter in the building, bringing you all the good stuff that's going on with our Atlanta Falcons. As you can see, we have a new regime. He's going to be looking to see what that regime brings to the table, good, bad, or indifferent. And we're going to try to do the same thing here. Remember, guys, we got high school football coming up, a doubleheader this week. We got 2 games at Tara Stadium where we ply our trade as the official live stream for the full game. We cover it at Tara Stadium. On Thursday night, we got one of the best teams in the state rolling into Tara Stadium. The Lovejoy Wildcats coming in undefeated, have knocked off any and all comers, including some top programs like North Gwinnett, and the 5-time defending Class A champions, Eagles Landing Christian Academy, all have fallen to the powerful Lovejoy Wildcats. Well, they'll be rolling in to face the Morrow Mustangs. The Mustangs are trying to find the form that took them to the postseason last year, struggling a bit. So Lovejoy is going to be a big challenge for them. And then we back it up with another big game. 2 perennial powers. Woodward Academy rolls into Tara Stadium to take on the Jonesboro Cardinals. The Cardinals are having a good year, 3-1 overall. So again, guys, check us out. We again do the live broadcast. 7 o'clock start time on Thursday night and 7:30 start time on Friday night. Well, guys, listen, we got to go. We appreciate all those of you who have watched us here via live, and of course, all those of you, especially on Periscope, who are watching the replay. We thank you so much for joining us, and we thank God for all those of you who have shared or allowed me to share on your various pages. Well, one thing I got to share before I go is the importance of you, ma'am, or you, sir, having a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. That's right. Mighty Yahashua HaMashiach stands ready to have a relationship with you. And that's how you have a relationship with the God, the Father above. That's right. You, ma'am, you, sir, can have a direct relationship with God. How can you do that? Well, a couple of things. Number 1, repent of your sin. Number 2, believe that he sent his son, Mighty Yahashua HaMashiach, Yeshua, Jesus, to come here. He lived as both fully man, fully God, died the most horrific death you can think of on the cross by crucifixion. But the good news is he rose from the dead. And if you can repent, believe, and tell somebody, you will now have established a relationship with the Almighty God himself. And you got great benefits. Number 1, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. Way better even than becoming a citizen of the United States of America or any other country for that matter. Number 2, you actually become a full-blown adopted child of the creator of the universe. How cool is that? And you can call Yeshua, Jesus, technically your big brother. Doesn't get too much better than that. And when you leave here, because we'll have to leave here eventually, you get to go to a nifty place called heaven, a place that is just adorned with jewels of every type. Matter of fact, the streets are paved with a gold that's so pure it's almost translucent. Matter of fact, the 12 gates of the city are made out of one single giant pearl. So you ladies and even gentlemen that like to bling, there'll be plenty of it in heaven. And the coolest thing, you will have Jesus and God himself to talk to personally. Never get tired, no pandemic, no protest of any type, no prejudice, none of those nasty things that we deal with here upon the earth will be there in heaven. Now, if you don't do that, you will go to the other place called HEWL, hell, where it's going to be dark, dreary, painful, and you will be there forever and a day. So I don't know about you. I like option 1 better than option number 2. All right, guys, until the next time when we get back together again, you know, I like to tell you, God bless you and have a great, great evening. So long now.